Hello everybody, Daniel Gaines here. Earlier I posted a video that I deleted. It was only up about an hour, a little over. It was brought to my attention that one of the court documents actually did contain Rachel Montgomery's phone number, and I didn't realize it whenever I showed the documents, so I went back and looked and saw that it actually was on the video. So once I realized that, I pulled it because it's not my intent to put personal information out there. That's just a bridge too far. Like I said, I'm in the other video, and I'm going to reiterate it. I'm not going after Rachel Montgomery, the person, the private citizen. I'm going after Rachel Montgomery, and I only mean going after her in the courts through the legal process before she accuses anything else. I'm going after her to expose her lies as Rachel Montgomery, the principal of the Windsor High School for the Windsor C1 School District. I'm going after her in her capacity as a public servant. Not her personal, I mean, in court, this would be suing personally, but this isn't about her as an individual. It's about her position as the principal. So I went ahead and pulled that video because, well, again, it did have her phone number in that one, so I'm not going to intentionally put that out there. However, doesn't change the fact that these court documents, it's public information, and these are the documents she's presenting to me. So the ones she's presenting to me shouldn't have her personal information in them anyway. That's how I'd prefer it to be, regardless. That's what I'm used to it being. So there's that. This one wasn't served to me yet. I haven't been served this protective order, the renewal, yet. So the court date for the 12th is going to have to be adjusted because at this point they're outside of they're going to be, it's not within the time frame needed. And I don't waive any rights. Because I know about it does not equate to service. I do not waive my right to service. So therefore they have to serve me. I waive no rights. And the Supreme Court has already said that just because you know of something doesn't constitute service. Me knowing about it because I found it on my own, well, I didn't find it, but it was found and brought to my attention, doesn't matter. I still have to be served properly in accordance with the law and state rules and such. But I haven't been served yet, so this was pulled off CaseNet, and I'm guessing that's why this actually does have her phone number on it. It also has the city she lives in, so that's going to be kept out of this video too, because again, that's personal information. The school district, their information, if you want to complain about her, that's public information. And if you have any feelings about what she's done or issues with it, take it to the school board, not her. Address it with the school board, not her. I don't advocate targeting any of these people outside of the proper channels, proper legal channels. Obviously there, yeah, like if you want to report her to the school board because of these crimes and everything, sure, by all means, go ahead and do so. I don't care if it results in her termination. She shouldn't be falsifying court documents. She's a public servant. She should know better. She's also Dr. Rachel Montgomery. She should know better. So I don't care about that, but nothing personal. Don't bother her. If you have something to say it to the school board. Let them deal with it. That's how it should be. That's the proper way. Now, the reason I'm back here today talking about her is because, as I said, she's filed an extension. And again, she's falsified it. Or intentionally misleading. So let's look at things. Excuse me. I'm not going to read it while I'm showing it this time. This time I'm just going to show it and then read it. Y'all can pause the video. Going back to Yates again. So, let's get into this. As you can see, that's the end of the page. I'm trying to zoom in, but leave all this in here. That way she can't claim I'm not showing everything or any other type of bullshit. And then there's that. Now, bear with me as I read this. Her handwriting, as you can see, isn't the greatest. So it's difficult to read. And she, surprisingly, doesn't know how to write at all. And she's, again, Dr. Rachel Montgomery. Anyway, it says, I am requesting an extension of my protection order from Daniel Gaines. Mr. Gaines continues to post about me on social media. He has made YouTube videos about me. He has read my order of protection aloud on video while sharing my personal cell phone number on the video. He continues to threaten to have me fired, calls me a liar, and accuses me of committing a felony. All of this done on a public forum, YouTube and Facebook, via the YouTube videos, while the order of protection has been in place. I have completed 3 additional police reports while the protection order has been established. And then all report numbers start with the year, so they're all 2024. But then it's 14632, the next one is 23686, and then the third one is 24259. Mr. Gaines continues to say that he will not adhere to the order of protection, and that he hopes he is arrested over this order of protection violation. The most recent situation where he violated the protection order was at the Windsor C1 school board meeting on August 28, 2024. Police report 2024-29. 259, or is that 24259? Sorry. I spoke in front of the board. I was on the public agenda, and Mr. Gaines still attempted to come to the school board meeting. I am at a constant state of fear and anxious as a result of Daniel Gaines' irrational behavior towards me and about me. In one of his videos, he states that he is the opposite of suicidal. I truly fear for my mental and physical safety in regards to Daniel Gaines' behavior. That's what she claims. Now, let's get into this. Again, earlier, her phone number was in a video. And once that was brought to my attention, I immediately removed the video, made sure it was removed from Facebook and YouTube both, deleted it off of both, and immediately put out a post stating that I didn't realize it was there, so I've deleted the video because I found out it was. Now, as far as the other one, that's a service copy. There shouldn't be any personal information on that, not even a phone number. So to the best of my knowledge, there isn't. I'm not going back and watching that video. Again, it's public record. Court documents are public record. There's no order saying I can't show them. And the protection order doesn't say I can't speak about her. For one. So I can speak about her and I can speak about all this. It's exposing government employees and state and county employees. It's about exposing public servants' misconduct. It's protected under the First Amendment. I'm sharing it in a public forum because the public, as taxpayers, has a right to know how their tax dollars are being wasted. So I'm informing the public of these things. Now, you can check through my Facebook, and the only Facebook Live videos I've ever done was a court hearing for a dependency for my oldest daughter from the state of Washington. In one of those days of the trial for dependency, you'll notice that DCYF, who has a lot more fucking sway with the courts than fucking a bitch-ass fucking lying principal, they cry about me threatening to get them fired and to sue them as well. And the judge, they make the same claim that it's a threat because I said those things. And the judge flat out told him, that's not a threat. He has the right to say that to you under the First Amendment. Not me who said that. That's a judge. And the judge is correct. And you could say, well, that was in Washington State. You're right, it was. However, the judge also was correct whenever he said it's my First Amendment right to say those things, especially to a public servant. So, there's that. She's trying to use that as the basis of claiming she's scared. However, remember, she's only scared, and these things make her even more scared because I was so hyper-focused on her that the video proves that's a lie. The only reason she's even being talked about is because she's fucking falsifying these documents. Now that I've already exposed the lies she's made, that was it about her. Other than school board meetings where I bring this up to the school board, that would be posted as well. But outside of that, that was all about her. It's not about her personally. It's about her lies. So there's that issue alone. So she's intentionally misstating. So there's the phone number part that's just straight bullshit. She's trying to claim that it's a threat to say I'm going to expose her lies and get her fired. She's saying, apparently claiming it's a threat to call her a liar when she's a liar. And it's also apparently a threat to accuse her of committing a felony when I posted the statute for perjury, showed you what she wrote in her court document, and then showed you the video that proved what she put in that court document was a lie. Well, if you don't want me to be able to accuse you of these things, don't do them. Duh. But anyway, it's funny how she thinks that the First Amendment doesn't apply if somebody's exercising their First Amendment rights about her in a negative way. Funny how she thinks that they don't apply. But then again, keep in mind, this is also the same bitch that was violating students' Fourth Amendment rights by unlawfully having them detained for 10 minutes or so while the buses were loading, and then claiming that, well, we were only stopping them so the buses could leave. Yeah, partly true. Now explain about why you were stopping them before the buses even started moving. What about those several minutes? That's on video. That's already been shown to people. So the courts already have access to it too, and the jury will hear the version with the audio, so we're all good. Anyway, she keeps trying to make it seem like these things are threats whenever they're First Amendment protected, but clearly she has a problem with the Constitution because of unlawfully detaining students, like I said. And then what makes matters even better is at the start of this year she implemented a new policy. In order for students at the high school to go to the bathroom, they had to relinquish their personal property to a staff member. So she conditioned the use of the bathroom on surrendering your Fourth Amendment rights. So clearly she has a problem with the Constitution and thinks she has far more authority than she does. School started this year on a Tuesday. By that Thursday, the assistant principal had changed that policy, had amended it, because even he knew it was so fucking severe that they were fucked. They were going to get sued for it. Even he knew that they couldn't allow that to stand. So it's no surprise she's got a problem with the First Amendment too, right? Let's get into this. She says that I violated the protective order by going to a school board meeting. Well, any other school board meeting I've been to, she hasn't been at. As far as her being on the agenda, I don't check the agenda. If you go to a school board meeting, at the start they go through their little preamble bullshit or whatever it is, and then it's public comments part. I say what I gotta say, and then I leave. I don't wait around for anything else. I immediately leave. I don't stick around. Why check the agenda? But basically is what it sounds like she's implying is I'm supposed to stalk her every location to ensure I'm not violating the protective order. In other words, she wants me to stalk her and violate the protective order in order to ensure I don't violate the protective order. Can you make that make sense? Violate the protective order to be sure you don't violate the protective order. A dumbass who's never been at a school board meeting that I've been to, I'm supposed to know the one time she's going to be there is the one I'm trying to go to? Weird. But yeah, I did that on purpose. I knew she was going to be there. Yeah, sure. I knew. Yep, that's why I went. The stupidity of these people is astounding, is it not? And in case you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm of me saying I knew. Because I had no fucking clue the dumbass was going to be there, or I wouldn't have went. Now let's continue. She is in constant state of fear and anxiousness as a result of me and my irrational behavior towards and about her. So it's irrational of me to be upset that you fucking falsified an order of protection, violating my First Amendment rights, violating my Fourth and 14th Amendment rights, violating my Second Amendment rights, and all done in retaliation because I hurt your feelings, pride, and fucking ego, and I'm not supposed to be bothered by that at all? Narcissist much? Sociopath much? I don't know. But then she goes on to claim that my video about the opposite of suicidal. Suicide means to take your own life. I wasn't going to put this in a video. I was exclusively going to leave it to the jury. That's why I wasn't in the video that I removed. But I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway on this video. And I'm still going to say it to the jury. We'll get to that part in a second. It's relevant. But the opposite, the suicide is to take your own life. The opposite of that would be to preserve your own life. Now, the context that I was using whenever I made that comment, if you actually watched the fucking video, is talking about because I'm going to expose the sheriff's department, the prosecutor's office, some judges, and everything else. They're going to retaliate, and they're going to retaliate in a big way. And, well, people, whenever they start exposing things like this, sometimes end up dead, and it's always claimed that it's a suicide. So I said I'm not suicidal. So if they ever do kill me, there will be video or audio recording of it, and I assure you it wasn't suicide no matter what's said because I'm not suicidal. If anything, it's the opposite of that. That's all I said. They can assume whatever they want. Doesn't make it reality. I'm just saying I'm going to cover my ass. Even if I do end up getting killed by them, I'm going to cover my ass. And I'm going to preserve my life to the best of my ability by ensuring that they're fucked. Because it's going to be on video and audio recording. And that's the context that's meant in. Now, as far as her crying about me showing these protective orders and everything, again, it's public fucking record. And besides the fact, everything in these two is going in front of the jury. I'm asking about this and calling all this out and exposing all this to the jury. She's worried about me putting it on social media and calling her a liar and everything else. What's she going to do whenever we're in court and she's a defense witness, meaning she's my witness and I'm questioning her and I'm using evidence, presenting evidence while questioning her? What's she going to do whenever I expose these lies and she's literally put in a situation where she's all but forced to admit that she intentionally falsified 2 different court documents? What's she going to do then? Is she still going to claim she's scared because I fucking exposed her? The stupidity of these people knows no bounds, I'm telling you. They have no logic or anything else like that. When they want to retaliate, they just do. And the courts allow it. And I'm exposing every bit of it on the record. I don't give a fuck. I've told the prosecutor today that she falsified this shit. Why? Well, because that way the prosecutor can't claim later they have immunity because they didn't know any of this was going on, because prosecutor's office has a duty and an obligation to address shit like this. They can't allow this shit to go on when it's brought to their attention because, well, that's part of their duties and responsibilities. You know why they won't do anything about these public servants who are corrupt and who violate the law? Because if you go to the prosecutor's website, Jefferson County Prosecutor's website, and you look at their duties and responsibilities, you'll learn that if these people are sued, prosecutor's office is their attorney. It's not Daniel Gaines saying that. Go look at their website. So now you see why prosecutors never hold any of these people accountable under the law. Now you see why they gladly and gleefully violate people's 14th Amendment rights and engage in treason. If you look up the statute for treason in Missouri, you'll find that Emmons, Dugan, Jalissa, Yates, Stuckmeyer, Sides are all guilty of treason via the statute. Black letter law. Per the statute, they're guilty of treason. And as far as witnesses, audio recordings, they can't get around that. Now, there's a couple of them that may be able to, but there's a few, judges in particular, that won't be able to get around it because there are witnesses. Even in the fucking kangaroo court Stuckmeyer held, where it was a star session chamber reminiscent of King George I, there was me, Stuckmeyer, Dugan and Stuckmeyer engaged in the acts of treason, but then their witnesses, and the video keeps them honest, or the audio rather keeps them honest. There's the judge's clerk and the sheriff's deputy that was in there as well. So that satisfies the statute for them. As far as Carl Yates's ass goes, well, there was several people in the courtroom besides his clerk and bailiff, so it's satisfied. Now, the funny part is the reason the video was pulled earlier. As I stated, it was brought to my attention that this time the document did actually have her phone number on it. So that led to me immediately deleting the video once it was brought to my attention. Well, the reason it was brought to my attention, the reason the document was being messed with and looked at even, for me to even know about it, is because there's some motions getting filed with the courts, and this is one of the exhibits for that, her new protective order. So as it was being attached, the document was being reviewed, and that's where the phone number was caught and noticed, and it was brought to my attention. So, I mean, that's how that came to be. But yeah, things are going to be fun. And for anyone who's thinking that, you know, oh, this guy talks a lot of shit on Facebook, but he ain't, or on YouTube, but he ain't going to say none of this in court, that's where you're wrong. See, everything I'm saying in these videos, I'm going to say in court. Everything I'm threatening to call out and expose in court, I'm going to. I'm not one that's just going to talk about it on social media. No, wait till we're in front of the jury. I'm defense witness number one. I'm the first defense witness taking the stand. You think I'm not exposing every bit of it during my part of getting to be able to tell my story? No, I'm sorry. Whenever I testify, I get to testify in the narrative because I act as my own attorney. So while I'm testifying in the narrative, I'm exposing every fucking thing and everybody. Why any of these people thought they'd be exempt is beyond me, because from the start, I've said at every hearing, my intent is to expose everything. Nobody's immune from that. I'm going to even expose the asshole things that I've done and said. Like, for example, the prosecutor wants to accuse me of making a threat because I asked a question. I'm going to ask the same fucking question during court. She's one of my witnesses too, the supervisor is. So, while she's under oath, I'm going to ask her the same fucking question. Just to expose the fact that it's really not a threat. She's just trying to claim that so that way they can manufacture more charges, so that way they can engage in further malicious prosecution. Again, retaliate because you have the audacity and nerve to expose their criminality and their misconduct. I'm always aware of what they're going to do because, well, like I've stated, corrupt judges and corrupt attorneys have taught me well. I know what to expect from them because they all do the same shit. Look at the Washington shit from years ago. You'll see the same fucking thing. It's not like I'm making it up. There's already fucking examples of these people doing the exact same shit years ago in a different state. There's no difference. Maybe during all the casual banter, somebody should have had the a forethought to ask what I've been forced to learn for 20 years. They would have been told the things that they needed to know to understand they're fucked. And Stuckmeyer screwed himself. See, on the audio recording, Stuckmeyer gets asked a question by me. Him and Dugan both accuse me of seeking legal advice, and he refuses to answer the question because I'm seeking legal advice, and you're not allowed to seek legal advice from a judge or a prosecutor. So, I pick up a piece of paper and read 2 little paragraphs from his code of conduct. Call him out for it. Basically, is what the passage said is, part of a judge's responsibility as a judge, when it comes to a pro se litigant, is to provide legal information. That's part of a judge's job, to provide legal information to a pro se defendant or litigant. I'm a defendant in this case, but pro se litigant in general. So, whenever I got done citing that to the judge said, "You're right, Mr. Gaines. That is my code of conduct. That is what it says, and I do have to comply with that." And then he immediately answered the question I asked, without me having to re-ask the question, essentially acknowledging that he attempted to violate his code of conduct, got caught, got called out, so he had to correct course, so that way you know, he's not screwed on violating his code of conduct, and then turn around and violated it several other ways. So even all his shit's getting called out to the jury. But we'll see. As far as it goes, though, Montgomery was served today a subpoena for court on the 16th. So she's aware that she's a defense witness. She's a prosecution witness as well. But when she's a prosecution witness, I don't get to use my evidence, and I'm more limited on the questions I get to ask them. However, as a defense witness, I'm not only allowed to use my evidence to expose them all, but I also have a wider range of questions I get to ask. So every bit of this shit, every lie, is going to be exposed in court under oath. And ultimately, it's just going to the FBI and the DOJ. I've already spoke to both. The DOJ I've got to speak more to, and that's set up and in the works. And the FBI, I've already got things set up with them. To speak with them about it further. And then after everything's said and done, because I no longer give a shit what the jury's ruling comes back as, no matter what they do, because Stuckmeyer's already said absolutely under no circumstances will he address any of their bullshit. So no matter how this ends, it's going to appeals. So I'll have the transcript anyway. So a copy of the transcripts are going to the FBI and the DOJ as well, where all the misconduct from their suppression of evidence and witness testimony and everything will be on the record, and everything else will be on the record as well. Because hell, even whenever the judge sends the jury out to fucking retaliate against me for exposing his shit, every time the jury comes back in, I'm telling them exactly what just happened when they were out the room. And then when he sends them back out and does it again, and they come back, I'm going to tell them again exactly what happened. Every time he does it, as soon as they come back in, the first words out of my mouth are going to be to tell them how the judge just retaliated. Every time. Canons say I'm allowed to speak, ensuring the right to be heard. I believe it's Canon 2, Rule 2.6, to be specific. I'll have to check to verify, but I believe in Missouri that that's what it is. As such, I'm allowed to address all this. If the judge didn't want me to expose his misconduct, perhaps he shouldn't have engaged in it. If Dugan didn't want me to engage his misconduct, perhaps he shouldn't have engaged in it. And the best part is, my witnesses are going to prove that everything's as I said. So, I apologize. See, you can look at my older videos and see all the legal codes I cite, all the case law I cite, and you'll understand and know that I'm a bit familiar with the law and such. What you can't find is me incorrectly using any of it. What you can't find is any judge or attorney accusing me of using any of it incorrectly. Hell, even in the federal lawsuit, none of them even claimed my case law was improperly used, cited wrong, or anything else. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that used in court. Now, further, the video I was going to put out relating to some case law and everything I'm still going to do, but this took priority. And the reason I haven't done it yet, and it's been several days, is because I've been busy with court documents. Pardon me. So I can get things done and filed with the courts. So I've been doing that. And life in general. When you have a family, things happen. Things come up. But I'm going to be showing the case law and everything still with this case. So, and anybody can check into it. Look at the case law I'm going to show. Look at the case law I've cited and show me where it's not used right. I'll wait. Now, as far as those people, because obviously Montgomery's admitting to being aware and watching my videos. Sounds more like she's stalking me, if being honest. But they're all watching my videos, and I'm aware of this fact. So, I mean, they can accuse me of anything they want. There will be proof. The one thing that they don't accuse me of weirdly enough, is being a liar. I make these claims about them, and none of them accuse me of being a liar. If I'm lying about these things I'm saying about Rachel Montgomery, she can file a defamation lawsuit. She can file a slander and libel lawsuit because I put it in writing and in words. So slander, libel, defamation, she can sue me for those things. She can take me to court. She just got to prove I'm lying. And we all know what I'm going to be able to prove in that one. So there's that. But another problem you'll find is whenever everything gets exposed, every email that's going to be that was sent is going to be exposed between me and all these people, even the ones where I'm cussing them out and being a complete dick. However, what you're also going to get to see, and I'm the only one who will show you, are the emails that I initially sent where I'm being cordial and civil until they get disrespectful or they disrespect me, and that's when it's fuck you to these people. I always approach them properly to begin with, and so long as they come at me the same way, that's the only way I'll ever approach them. They make their bed, I make them lie in it. Now, one thing about it is, like I said, they don't accuse me of being a liar, and I hope they try. Show me what I'm lying about. Anything that anybody wants to accuse me of manipulating or lying about or distorting to make it appear as though something was said that wasn't said, do you think I'm lying? Now, this is to the people who the videos are about. The general public, y'all are going to think what y'all are going to think. I'm not putting full audio recordings out there for y'all at this time. Don't worry, in due time, you will hear every bit of everything, except anything with personal information. That part will be excluded, obviously, but everything else y'all will have. Public servants' official email addresses that are tied to their official duties, those are going to be, I'm not covering those or hiding those because that's public information and everything as well. But any of the people in the videos who I'm speaking about, like for instance, in this example, in this video, I'm calling out Montgomery's criminal conduct again for a second felony now she's guilty of. They can, if they want to accuse me of being a liar, so be it. Let them. I'll post full audio recordings and everything else and show who's the liar. See, I sent Jason King an email at the very beginning, and I warned him. They're lying. I'm the only one who's going to tell you the truth. I straight told his ass at the start. I was the only one who would tell you the full truth. Jason King and the school board felt it'd be smart and a good idea to not give me the opportunity to show them everything. So who's at fault here? You can't blame me because I've been doing nothing but trying to have them give me an opportunity to prove that this shit's a lie. They've all refused. It's not on me, that's on them. So go ahead, try accusing me of being a liar. Take me to court, because we got court on the 16th, and y'all are going to be exposed. Now, a couple of my witnesses, their attorney emailed and said they might have to file with the courts because they'll be out of the area and won't be able to attend. So the 16th is a tentative date. We'll have to see what happens there. Dealing with a corrupt judge and a corrupt prosecutor. Don't know what's going to happen, but my witnesses are required for court. They were served a lawful subpoena. And then I mentioned earlier how I told the prosecutor about this new falsification, and I did. Because like I said, the prosecutor's office has duties and responsibilities and obligations under the law and everything, and according to the Supreme Court, state rules and everything else, state constitution and all that. So it's to make sure they have no immunity whenever all this is said and done, and they get included in the lawsuit for the malicious prosecution, violation of codes of conduct. Not just them on that one. Well, not just them on most of it, except the malicious prosecution and prosecutorial misconduct. But whenever they're sued for all of these things, they can't claim immunity because they're being informed of everything before it happens. And yet it's happening exactly as I warned them that it's going to. Now, some of it I've known it was known in advance that it would go down that way, so it's not like it's any big deal. But other things I've told them about didn't come true until after the fact, and it went down just the way I said, and they've done nothing, just like I said they would. So they're waiving their immunity. I'm not doing it. I'm giving them the opportunity and hoping they'll actually comply with the law. So far, I'm the only one who hasn't actually committed a crime. Literally, out of every person named, with maybe 2 exceptions, and those names will be revealed at a later time, the maybe 2 exceptions, but everybody else literally has committed a crime with the exception of me. Go figure. But yet I'm the only one on criminal trial here. Weird how that works, huh? You really can't make this shit up. But anyway, this video is long enough. I've ranted far longer than I should have. The phone number being in the last video was a mistake, and I fully admit that and own that. It wasn't supposed to be. Again, it is not my intent or desire to intentionally release personal information. Again, this isn't about something that happened in our personal lives between us. It says it's in their official roles and as public servants that my issues are with these people. So yeah, and before it was brought to my attention earlier, I didn't even have Montgomery's personal number. Don't want it. Got no reason to want that bitch's number. I got no lady, and even if I was single, out this fucking evil, vindictive, nasty bitch, I wouldn't want nothing to do with her. Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, it's not about putting personal information out. Now, as far as the Windsor C1 School District's phone number to address the board members or Dr. King, that's the superintendent. That's all public information. I think Jason King's email address, the superintendent's email address as the superintendent is also public. And if not, I'll make it public because, well, he's a public servant. So his official email account in relation to his job as superintendent is also public information. So I'll give ways for y'all to reach out to these people through the appropriate and official channels. But as far as personal information, nah, it ain't about that. Never has been and never will be, because that's just not something you do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if these people have families. I mean, I don't care, but I don't know if they do. And I'm not saying I don't care what happens in their families. I'm saying I don't care if they have families. But because it's a possibility that they might, I wouldn't intentionally put their personal information out there. I have no desire to see any of these people physically harmed. Now, as far as mental harm, well, I imagine there will be some mental harm if they go to jail or lose their job or anything else because of things they've done. So, I'm not out to intentionally inflict mental damage or harm, but could it result in that? Possibly, but that's not my intent. My intent is to have the public servants held to account. And if that means they get fired, good. They should be. Now, the sad reality is that even after she's exposed, she's not going to get in any criminal trouble for these things. The sad reality is, worst case scenario, she has to pay damages. But because she's a public servant, taxpayers are the ones that are going to pay that. So they're the ones who get punished. And aside from that, she gets fired, but they'll allow her to resign instead. And then they'll allow her record to cover it up, so that way she can go get a job somewhere else without them knowing about it. So really the only punishment she'll receive is the taxpayers are going to be paying for her shit. That's worst case scenario for her ultimately. So I mean, there's no accountability for these people, as sad as that is. However, that's the county. What the FBI and DOJ do, who's to say? I don't make that choice. That's on them. I do know both have the authority to bring criminal charges against any or all of these people. So what they do, out of my control. I can only hope the law gets applied to these people the same as their manufacturing it against me. Because the difference is, whereas I've committed no crime, they actually have. And on that note, y'all have a good night. Peace.